Welcome to Pharma Stability Series. If you want to understand stability studies in a simple, practical, and regulatory-focused way, you are in the right place. In this video, we will break down a key stability topic step by step, including its scientific basis, regulatory importance, and common industry expectations. So let's get started.
Hey everyone, today we're going to pull back the curtain on something you've probably seen 1,000 times but never really thought about. That little expiry date on your medicine. So how exactly do companies figure out when a drug is officially past its prime? You know the feeling, right? You find a bottle of aspirin in the back of the cabinet, you see it expired a couple months ago, and you kind of pause. Is that date for real? Is it a serious warning? Or is it more of a gentle suggestion from the manufacturer? Well, let's settle this. There is a huge myth out there that this date is just a super conservative guess. But the reality? Nope, not even close. That date is a hard-fought scientific conclusion, and today we're going to walk through exactly how they get there. So how do they build that conclusion? Well, it all starts way before any drug even gets close to a pharmacy, with something called the stability blueprint. Now, this blueprint has an official name, a stability program. And listen, this isn't just some casual lab work. It is a super formal, heavily documented series of tests. And the goal is crystal clear, to get hard evidence that proves a drug will stay safe and effective for a specific amount of time. It's all about patient safety. And the process is incredibly methodical. First up, scientists break down the drug's entire formulation, not just the active ingredient, but every single thing it's mixed with. Then they figure out the exact real-world conditions it's going to be stored in. And only then do they start the most important part, actually generating the data. This brings us to the heart of the matter, where all that evidence comes from. And it really boils down to two key types of tests. They're different, but they're both absolutely essential. Okay, so first you've got real-time studies. Think of this as the marathon. It is the absolute backbone of any shelf life claim. They store the drug under totally normal conditions and test it for months, sometimes even for years. Then you've got the sprint, accelerated studies. This is a stress test. They crank the temperature and humidity way up to basically see the future, to predict how the drug might break down, and to spot any weaknesses long before they become a problem. It's an amazing early warning system. So what are they actually looking for in these tests? Well, a whole bunch of things. They run an assay. That's just a fancy word to make sure the amount of active ingredient is still exactly right, so you get the dose you're supposed to. They hunt for degradation products to make sure no new, potentially harmful impurities are forming. They even check how it dissolves and, just its basic physical appearance. It is a top-to-bottom physical to make sure that medicine is still safe and still works. But here's where it gets really interesting. The process goes way beyond just testing the drug's chemical formula. There are other huge factors that can totally change the final date on the box. And one of the biggest of these is the packaging. Seriously, that little plastic bottle or that foil blister pack, it's not just a container. It's an engineered shield. It is a bodyguard designed to protect the medicine from its biggest enemies: moisture, oxygen, and light. All things that can make it go bad. And the packaging makes a massive difference. Check this out. The exact same drug, we'll call it Product X, might earn a solid 24 months shelf life when it's in a protective plastic bottle. But if you put that same pill in a less protective foil sachet, the data might only support 12 months. The package is just as much a part of the product as the pill itself. And you can't just get lucky once. It's not enough to prove it works with one golden batch. Companies have to show that their manufacturing process is rock solid and consistent. The stability data has to hold up across multiple, totally separate production batches to prove that every single box that leaves the factory is going to perform just as well as the one they tested in the lab. Okay, so they've run all the tests, they've factored in the packaging, they've proven they can make it the same way every time. How does this mountain of data get turned into that one single date printed on the box? This is so crucial. They don't just look for a simple pass or fail. They do something called trend analysis. So look here. Even though the impurity level is still technically in the safe zone at 24 months, you can see a really clear upward trend. A scientist looks at that and knows that pushing it any further is a risk. The direction the data is heading is just as important as where it is right now. And finally, after all of that work, this entire mountain of data gets handed over to the regulators. They are the final gatekeepers. And they're asking one fundamental question, over and over. Is the shelf life you're asking for backed up by the science, or is it just a number that would be convenient for your business? Which brings us to what is honestly the most important takeaway from all of this. A drug's shelf life isn't guessed at. It's not assumed. It is earned, piece by piece, through an enormous amount of scientific data.
So the next time you see that date on a medicine package, you'll know it's not just a suggestion, it's a scientific promise. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? What other simple everyday numbers in our lives are backed by this much incredible hidden science?
If this helped, like and subscribe.